Tucker Carlson spoke at an event for Turning Point USA and did a Q&A that went completely off the rails. Now, there are a lot of interesting aspects to this, including Tucker, who is the least threatening person visually that anyone's ever seen, and has a laugh that would make a young girl go, I could beat this guy up. Which I'm not into that. Oh, who could be who? But let's just say it. This is not the archetype of someone who should be on stage threatening to fight people, which is what he did. He ended up going, I'm going to have to take you outside and beat you up, which I could do, by the way. And I'll show you that in a second. But then he also was previewing, I think he might be considering running for president. What are you threatened by that guy? And so before we get to him saying, I'm going to have to beat you up, there's some aspects to this that have to do with, like I said, preview to if he runs for president, what his critiques of Trump and his governance will be. And I do think that's the disaster we're headed towards, is a presidential candidate, Tucker Carlson, Republican nominee. I think he could get it, which is the scary part. But here, just to kind of start us off, someone references his net worth being really high, and he takes issue with it, which, let's listen to the numbers and see just how even on small things like his net worth, he's rich. Doesn't, like, getting all fed up that someone used a number that you don't think is right is silly when the point is that you're really wealthy. And I don't know how that fit into the argument, but that's what the person was bringing up. And for Tucker to be so casually dishonest is interesting. So let's listen.
I don't understand it because it makes no sense. Like, you're worth $50 million.
I'm not worth $50 million.
30 to 50.
Get off the fucking internet, son. Don't stop believing that stuff. $50 million?
Go back to cable news.
Sorry.
No, but I'm just, look.
Okay, you're too annoying. So I like the last chick who disagreed with me, and then we could have a normal conversation.
What? Who are you? What era are you talking in? He said, get off the internet, son. I liked the other chick. This isn't you. Tucker's just this amorphous blob of nothing. And I don't use blob in any way there. I just mean he kind of is he's attached to no principle. He's not a person in that he knows who he is. He just has, and you can see it throughout his career, shape-shifted into different versions of Tucker Carlson to fit whatever moment.
Radicalized.
So now I guess he's on I can beat you up, son. I like the other chick. That broad earlier was nice. Nice piece of ass over there. It's who are you? Now, let's just think about this. He took issue with $50 million being his net worth. His salary at one point, and I'll use the low estimate, at Fox was $20 million a year. If you're not worth $50 million right now, you're terrible with money. If you were getting paid $20 a year and you couldn't set some of that aside and invest some of that and buy some property with it, then you're terrible with your money, and you're a Swansonaire. So you're a rich family you come from as well. So of course you should be more than $50 million if you have any financial sense, given how much money was being chucked at you for your whatever you called what he was doing on Fox News. Okay.
All right.
But you're telling me you're worth $50 million. What? Stop.
Okay, you got real defensive there. I just threw out a number that's a lot of money. Jesus Christ, calm down.
Don't use that phrase.
You're worth.
We're done.
Look,
just stop.
Can I say one?
No, you can't. Not after you say that. Leave.
All right.
Yeah, now fight him. All right, let's get to the threatening of a fight part. That's just gold. So he's not worth. But can you look up? I've seen net worth estimates are terrible. They're just awful. But again, you can see how much he was getting paid from Fox for multiple years, and 20 million to over 30 million. Well, then what is he doing with his money then? Tucker Carlson reportedly had a salary of 20 million. Yeah, okay. Well, he's spending money like a crazy person. Does he not own things? What happened? Obviously, that's a ton of money. But my point is, it's not if you factor in how much he was getting paid and how even if you just held on to that and your parents were really rich, then you probably should be up in that vicinity. I saw one very unreliable estimate that was like 1 billion or something. So then this part. While we watch, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show. Right below the video, just check, make sure you are subscribed. I appreciate it.
So I kind of just don't see a lot of change between, the Biden administration and now the Trump one in foreign policy. We're still giving a shit ton of money to like Israel and Ukraine. Nothing is happening. The war's not stopped. He promised it'd be done in a day, and it's, I don't know, how many months? 8 months or something like that. It's a long time. Your dad was in the CIA, and I was wondering, does our government even want war to stop? Do they want conflicts to end? It seems like we have a difference of interests where we're getting told one thing and the other is happening, and I feel like there's not enough communication between different sects of government, and I really think the deep state's controlling everything and we have no control.
Well, let me.
What was the question? Okay.
Start at, obviously, you probably sense that I agree with a lot of that. Obviously, leave my father out of it. I'm going to have to kick your ass, which I could do, by the way, if you bring him up again, because he was a wonderful man, whatever, he did for a living. So I really do hate that. But leaving that aside, and don't test me, son.
What is this? He wasn't even saying it derogatorily. He was just, I don't even know if it was in the CIA, but worked in association with or something in the U.S. government. And they did everything CIA. So he was CIA. And he was just saying, like, you might know more about what goes on inside the government because of that, I guess, was the reason the questioner brought up the point. But bring him up again and I'm going to have to beat your ass, which I could do, by the way. Whoever says that? I get I could beat your ass. I get that. But then going, which I could do, by the way. Imagine that. Like, you're in a bar and someone bumps you, like, excuse me? Excuse me? This is me when so we're going to fight? Is that what's happening? And then they're like, oh yeah, you want to? And I go, I could beat your ass, which is true. I could, by the way. I actually could. Seems pretty insecure about that. And okay, Tucker. I don't like that culture of like, ooh, just like there's not many reasons these days for most of us to get into fights. Like, why do we need to get into fights? I've won all of the fights I've been in. They were all with the girls, but no, not really. But I just don't. I know myself, right? I'm not the toughest guy. I don't really want to get into a fight with someone. And wherever you place me, because I don't think we have to do that. I want you to find me interesting for other reasons, not because I could beat somebody up. But Tucker has to be even lower on that list of people who could beat people up. He's like the most prep school bougie boy. You didn't put wait. You didn't put syrup on my pancakes, Mom. Nah, and throw the plate at like the maid. That's his aesthetic. So let's just stop with this. Don't mess with me, son. It would be as weird as if I said it, but I think even weirder.
I hate to say I agree with a lot of what, I think you probably know I agree with a lot of what you've said, and it's enormously frustrating. It's shocking, actually. And I do know, I'm not shilling, I just happen to know some of the people who work in the administration who are people who agree with you strongly. I think most Trump voters agree with you. That's why they voted for Donald Trump in the first place. And, no pointless wars was not just a thing he said at one campaign stop. It was a pillar of his campaigns and of MAGA itself. I mean, what is MAGA? There's a mad scramble, particularly since Charlie's passing, to define what this is and to read some people out of the movement. You're not MAGA. Well, what is MAGA? Well, MAGA is 5 things, okay? MAGA is America first, which means Americans should put no country before America. American interests come first. That's not a crazy idea. No pointless wars, period.
Yeah, so some of he'll go down a list. It's important, right, to say we don't want pointless wars. I do get a little tired with political rhetoric sometimes because it's like, who says they want a pointless war? You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, there's warmongers and they should be called out and trying to get into neither. But it is funny how, like, here's what we stand for. No pointless wars, which means pointless. So everyone thinks the wars they support have a point, which is why they support them. But okay, America first. Like, who says we're not America? I get that has a bunch of other implications. And also, we're for everyone being happy and everything being good. Yeah, true. Great thoughts. So there was that. And then this is a good one too. Someone asks him about what I was saying, his shape-shifting, which is you were out being really pro-Trump on television, and then texts leak, and you're saying you hate Trump, and you're mocking his election conspiracies. What's that about? Tucker was not happy.
Thought process.
I would answer your second question first. I really try to be as transparent as I possibly can. I think you just scoffed in the microphone.
I mean, there was text that came out in court filing.
Would you like to know what that was? Because I'll tell you.
I'm sure everyone would love to know. Yeah, when the Dominion lawsuit.
You're one of the.
Why are you so violent today? Why is he so violent today? I just want to. Look at your suit. Stop. I'm saying this as a fellow lover, not a fighter. Okay? So this is not about chest pounding. I'm just saying, look at your little thing in your suit. Jacket. What are these things called? Those little things? Gosh, we're so not fancy enough. Y'all will know. Stop it, Tucker. You live in a cottage in Maine. Stop.
The Dominion lawsuit.
You're one of the most annoying people I've ever dealt with. This is why I don't come to college. No, but hold on. I'm gonna no. Hold on. I'm gonna apologize. I just want to apologize for saying that. Okay, so
that's such an honor.
I know. My views are like on the internet, and I don't work for anybody but me. I'm in business with my college roommate. I have no incentive to ever lie at all, and I really try not to. I supported the Iraq War.
He always says that. I have no incentive to lie, and I really try not to.
Bullshit.
I don't lie. I don't lie. What do I mean by that? A lie is when you knowingly say something wrong. I never get on the show and knowingly say something wrong. Have I gotten things wrong? Yeah. Have I ever knowingly said something that wasn't true? No, it's never happened. Because I know about it, because knowing about it is a part of what makes a lie a lie. It's really that simple. But he always goes, I try as little as possible to lie, which means he's admitting he intentionally says things that are untrue sometimes. But he tries his best.
Pretty vehemently, I supported the nomination of a Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett. That was a huge mistake. Sorry. I think not what I thought she was. I support John Roberts. I support, what's the list of dumb things I've supported in my life? It's very long. I think I've learned something from those mistakes. I'm happy to admit how dumb they were. I've spent the last 22 years trying to atone for my support for the Iraq War.
I appreciate that. And
hold on, I'm not. Okay, now you're annoying me again.
Oh my God.
Not here for your affirmation. So
I don't.
I would say, as to the text specifically, you want to actually know? I mean, are you even willing to hear it? I'll tell you exactly what.
Tell us.
Those are between me and a producer of mine who I really love, who I still am close to.
No one cares.
That was.
What is that about the way he talks? I think it's a part of lies or something, but you give all these unnecessary details. You don't want to know what
I do the weave.
Do you want to know what the text? Do you really want to know? You really want to know? I'll tell you. You want to know? You don't even want to know. You're not even listening. Oh, you're listening? Well, you're listening too much. Well, you're not listening enough. I'll tell you. Ready? Okay, ready? I'm going. Ready? Here, go. So I was texting a producer, a good friend of mine, great guy. We knew each other. We used to get ice cream together after school. It was fun, and then we'd get into our Lamborghinis. We both had Lamborghinis, but I'm not worth $50 million, but I'll beat your ass, little kid. Okay, so I don't need to know about your relationship with the producer. What does that have to do at all with the text?
It was in January after the election, and Trump was saying they stole it from me. And I called the White House and I said, I'm totally willing to believe that. I mean, Zuckerberg puts, $400 million into the mechanics of elections. I don't think he's doing that because he believes in good government. Like, what is this? It's clearly their stuff. And I say to the White House, someone specifically at the White House, give me examples. And he says, I have got a great example for you. I've got 7 or 8 dead people who voted. And the beauty of that claim was it's provable because they're death certificates. And we've got the death certificates and we've got the obits, and they voted, and they're on the voter rolls. We know they voted. Well, I mean, talk about slam dunk. I'm not repeating anything I can't prove. I don't trust any campaign, period. I never have on either side. I just don't trust campaign consultants. They're disgusting. I still think that. But this seemed like a verifiable hit. So I go out there and I say, there's a lot of talk, and you can pull up the tape. There's a lot of talk about, election theft. We're working on it. And I'm working in Fox News, so there's like a lot of, let's find out what happened. But we know that 7 or 10 dead people voted, and here are their names. Miss Wanda Johnson of Sioux City, Iowa, and, Jack Klein of Corpus Christi, Texas, and I would go through the whole name, and we'll put the obits up. Well, within 25 minutes, a couple of the dead people call CNN to say, we're not dead. And CNN runs this whole thing exposing that I have just made this colossal error on the air. There's nothing I hate more than being wrong and humiliated like that, because I have a staff. We should get this right. And I didn't get it right because
he's also bringing a little bit of Valley Girl energy. Because I have a staff. And it's you're annoying me. So, okay. It's just so many different, who are you? I'm curious when he looks at who do you see, Tucker? Who are you to yourself? So the story so far is so much unnecessary details. Why did you say you hated Trump? Same, but why did you say it while you were saying something different on the air? And then it's a whole long story about how he ran fake news. And then he goes, I'm not going to run something I can't verify. So what we did is we took these names and we ran them, and we didn't verify that they were alive. What? And watch, you'll admit it.
It's so easy to check whether or not someone has died that I didn't check.
Right. Why? Why? He's like, here's the thing. We were going to do our due diligence. So we said, hey, send us ironclad claims, like a dead voter voted, so someone else must have voted for them. Because what we can do is we can go verify that real easily. So they did. They sent us the information, and we just ran it without verifying it, which was the perfect thing because we could verify it. So we didn't.
And I was enraged. And I was just enraged by the whole thing. And my position was, at the time, if you're going to claim it was stolen, prove it to me. I'm an adult man. I'm not taking anybody's word for stolen. Prove it to me.
What is this?
I'm an adult man.
I'm a big boy.
I'm not taking anybody's word for anything.
You just
How
did.
come you weren't saying these things during, on Fox News?
I did the next day.
And I'm not here to just try to argue with you. I really do think this country's going through some, deeply troubling times.
Wait, what do you mean argue with me? You just said, wait, stop. You just, wait, hold on.
No,
you said, why didn't you say these things? And I said, I did the next day on the air, live on Fox News. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. No,
but you didn't though. Check
the tape, dude.
Emphasis of your show. The emphasis.
What are you talking about? I went immediately on the.
Cop-out. Okay, fine.
What do you mean it's a cop out? I was completely wrong. I blamed the Trump campaign for being wrong when it was partly my fault for taking their word for it, which I shouldn't have done. And the guy who gave me that information, I just ran into. I'm still mad at him. He's still around.
It's just so you don't.
Is that another death-related thing? He's still around, unfortunately. No, you didn't. You didn't say that on the air. You did at some point say that claims weren't able to be verified or were wrong. You never said, I hate Trump. You never said those lies are dangerous. You never called them lies. You never mocked them like you did in the text messages. You, to this day, perpetuate false claims about the election. You constantly bolstered the MAGA lies about our electoral process, even after that. So that whole 4-minute story he told us doesn't answer the person's question because you can't. And that's why Tucker's getting so inflamed. Like, I've never heard his voice in such a high octave. What are you talking about? Because he's getting nervous. This is because it doesn't rely on any dogma or you got to be liberal to think Tucker looks bad. You can agree with everything Tucker says today and still acknowledge what he was saying in those texts about the election lies versus what he said publicly were very different and continue to this day to be very different. And no ideology is required to see that contrast, which makes him obviously very uncomfortable. Maybe he'll beat me up for this segment. I don't know. I'm afraid now that Tucker will drive over in a premium golf cart and pound me over the head with a nice cake. What a ridiculous human being. And I think he could be the Republican nominee. That's where we're at. I think he could be the Republican nominee. And he's setting himself up to say, I'm more MAGA than Trump. Trump failed on why you supported him. But can I just say as a little side thought, how do any of the people who like Tucker Carlson make fun of Kamala Harris for having a quote unquote cackle? So they said that's the reason she couldn't be president. They're going to support this guy? Let's close out the segment with a good Tucker.